Hi everybody, it's Martina from Streetphoto Gallery, and welcome to the first episode of this video blog in which I update you on the curatorial partnership that we are doing with Victory Art, and in more into detail with the artist Mima. This partnership started about a month ago, something like that. And with the new curatorial program of the gallery, we decided to take up one of the artists that Victory Art sponsors and to basically develop her with a curatorial program for about a month. Yeah, about a month, a couple of months actually is going to be when the exhibition opens. For this exhibition that we're gonna do on the 12th of January at Streetphoto Gallery here in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. And this curatorial program started out with a selection of a few artists by Victory Art and Victoria. The CEO helped us out, and we did a small video in which we saw their portfolio and then chose the candidate that would become this artist that would eventually be in the curatorial program. So Mima Chovankova, she is from Slovakia, and she is the one that we decided she would be the perfect candidate basically for this program that we have just started in our gallery. And she is Slovakian, as I said, but she lives in the UK for now since a few years. And actually, this theme of culture clash and stereotyping of Slovakian folks actually comes back in her collages, which are her main focus now. She started out as an abstract painter, but she's now focusing more on this lovely pop colored collages. And we started out from that for the first couple of meetings that we had with her. Actually, the first few ones were group meetings with Victoria and Alexi, the director of Streetphoto Gallery. And this is actually the first feature that I do on the...
I have been developing some new work for the upcoming exhibition, and I'm about to have a conversation with Martina, the curator, about the latest progress and the themes that run through the new works. Mainly, we'll be talking about the themes and the overall aesthetic of the new work, because it is a bit different to my previous work, which is very pictorial, very visually loud, and full of narrative, whereas the new work is a bit more lyrical and a bit more abstract and a bit more painterly in a way, even though they are still digital photo montages. The main focus is on composition and color and texture, but still using the Slovak folk aesthetic, because that has now become my own sort of personal mythology that I use in my visual vocabulary. So it's a very exciting time. It's quite new, the work I'm developing, so it's good to have the curator's input in terms of putting an exhibition together. Also, Martina will be quite involved in the process of putting all the pieces together, which is very new for me. I have not worked like that before, so it will be very interesting to see how the curator's input will influence the way I work and present my work as well. So we're about to have the conversation now, and I will do another short video after we've talked about everything to give another update on what's going to happen next and how I'll approach making these works with the curator's input.
Coming back to our curatorial parts, the first time that I spoke to Mima in the group meeting, she told me that she has started being very interested in Moravian fairy tales and the symbols behind it and the character that were featured in this sort of folkloric tales of her land, and that she wanted to explore that more and also maybe visually, not only as a research. So we focus more on that. And actually, during the first session, we talked a little bit more about what her themes for the upcoming weeks would be, because actually when she sent me the first batch of experiment that she had done, she also attached some research that she had done for herself, and she had analyzed a few categories of tales that could be that could basically be a good basis for her development, and she categorized them in this like four sorts that like for how can I say, not really categories but themes that they could be fitted in, like most of them. Some of them featured animals, for example, and other magical elements. And then there were, of course, those of religion, of religious themes and leaning, and then those of like more realistical, more urban in a way. And I also saw that she had started to be kind of interested in the theme of death and the symbols about it, and also like the demonic, uh, this kind of demonic fascination that there is around death, and how in a way humans explain the paranormal and what basically the unknown in the process of dying and death and the afterlife in a way. So I saw that there was this really broad interest that she had, and I really appreciated that she had done this very thorough research, because starting from this like something so broad and so general, and it's very difficult, and you don't know what kind of approach you can take. But she had already starting analyzing it thoroughly, and these categories were actually very helpful for her, I think, because then from these categories actually there were some recurring elements and recurring symbols. So these symbols were actually featured in these two collages that she did for Victory Art for a live session. So you can go on their website and YouTube channel and just look her up actually making them. So that's very interesting. But like she said, she was not exactly satisfied with it, because not because of the visual result, but because this process had started to become like very easy for her. I mean, she had done a lot of collages. She was kind of satisfied with it. They were symbolic and they were personal because they were reflecting her own insights regarding the Slovakian stereotypes that she had experienced as a woman living in the UK. So they were sort of a theme of cultural clash, and they were interesting because they were personal, basically. And this actually themes had not been internalized in a way, the one from the Moravian fairy tale, the Slovakian folklore, not thoroughly. So she was not too satisfied.
I've spoken to Martina, the curator, the other night, and we basically talked mainly about the themes in my current work. We decided that it was best to focus on two main themes and develop those further, which will require a bit more research, which Martina will mainly be doing, and passing on to me, which is very interesting. I've never done that before. I've never worked with a curator in this way, so I'm quite looking forward to exploring that. After that, and following from my visual experiments, we will introduce some of my older work and writing material to see whether we can find a certain thread that links all the themes in my work together. Later on, we'll be looking at all of the research and the work and finding a new narrative. My work evolves around narratives. It is about storytelling in a way. And in my past work, it's been mainly me retelling certain stories. And Martina told me she thought it would be a great thing to maybe try and write my own story and create a new narrative for the work, which I think is a brilliant idea. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and at the moment I'm focusing on the visual experiments, and Martina is doing some new research for me, and we'll take it from there.